Loading up now. Okay, I believe we are officially live. So let me just double check that, make sure that everything is running smoothly. Looks good. It looks good. All right. Well, welcome. Oh, let me make sure I mute the Facebook stream so we're not just hearing double audios the entire time. That'll get extremely annoying immediately. All right. So today's Employer Spotlight, I am joined by Jessica, Katie, Matthew, and Kyle from International Paper. Welcome you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So let's get started. First, and this I guess could be kind of for anybody who wants to take this one, some will kind of go more, everybody could give an answer. But for the first, if someone wants to just tell me a little bit about International Paper. What is it that IP does and where are some of your primary locations?
Yeah, I'll take that one. So International Paper is a global producer of renewable fiber-based packaging, pulp, and paper products with manufacturing operations across the world. We produce corrugated packaging products that protect and promote goods and enable worldwide commerce. These products include pulp for diapers, tissue, and we also create papers which facilitate education and communication. So you might not realize it, but you probably touch one of our products every day, whether that's a corrugated box that's delivered on your doorstep from Amazon or paper bags at the grocery store. We are headquartered in Memphis, Tennessee, and we have over 50,000 employees in more than 24 countries. We serve 25,000 customers across 150 countries. And in 2019, we had $22 billion in total revenue. And then just in 2019 alone, we've invested more than $24 million in our communities across the globe.
Awesome, thank you so much. Another way that people could potentially come into contact with IP's products is I'll just do a quick plug for our office, stop by the Center for Career Development and Academic Exploration. IP has been a consistent and generous donator of resume paper. So for any students that are watching this, feel free to stop by our office, go to the front desk and ask for a resume paper packet, and you'll get that donated generously again by International Paper. So thank you guys for that as well. What kind of job and internship opportunities are currently open with IP?
So I'll take that one. As of today, right now, we don't have any immediate positions open for hire, but we do kind of a typical recruiting season every year where in the fall, we're actually on campus recruiting for positions to start the following year. So we do hire both December grads as well as May grads so that people could start in either January or June, just depending on their school schedule. And we do hire for a variety of different positions. So this includes co-ops, internships, and full-time positions, like I mentioned. Right now, we really are focusing more on internships and co-ops and bringing students in to be able to explore and understand International Paper, figure out our business, and determine if it's a good place for them and a good fit long-term, with the goal of actually converting those interns into full-time employees once they graduate from the university. So as of right now, you guys will see us virtually on campus in the fall to begin recruiting for next year.
And so once you are actually recruiting, there are positions to fill. How can students apply for those?
So in general, the best way to apply for these is going to be through Handshake. Now, all of our postings for all the business groups that you see represented here, which would be IT, HR, finance, supply chain, they're all going to be posted on Handshake. But what we'd like to encourage, and like Katie touched on, is we're generally on campus or virtually on campus recruiting for fall and spring semesters. And what we would like to do is we'd like to speak to students. So if we have opportunities to speak to you, whether it's through a career fair or through an info session, I feel like those are going to be the best opportunities for you to present yourself, register with us on an iPad, and then maybe through that you can apply for a job on Handshake and help build that rapport. We also have manufacturing jobs that are posted on ProConnect as well. So all of our different business groups are represented through either Handshake or ProConnect.
And I guess this is probably a question I should have asked to start with, but since we have multiple areas being represented right now, why don't we just go around real quick and just do a quick introduction and talk about where you work within IP and maybe how long you've been there. Since there's no definitive order, Jessica, why don't we start with you and then I'll just call who's next.
Yeah, so my name is Jessica Hammond. I am the HR manager for Global and Corporate HR, and we're located here in Memphis, Tennessee at our headquarters. And part of my role oversees the HR college recruiting efforts, and that is our HR summer internship program, as well as our HR development program, which is a rotational leadership program to early career HR professionals and college recruits. And I graduated from UTK, so go Vols, and I've been with International Paper for 6 years. I've actually moved around 3 times and lived in 3 different states. So we'll talk more about our different careers with IP, but it's been a really great career so far.
Awesome. Katie, you want to go next?
Yeah, my name is Katie Rickmer. I manage our EDI team in the industrial packaging group. So my team is mostly centered around working to integrate customers electronically so that they can send us purchase orders and we can send them back things such as invoices. So that's kind of the area that I am responsible for. I've been at International Paper for 8 years now, all within IT, and I've been in Memphis the entire time. So go Vols also.
Then Matthew.
Hey guys, I'm Matthew Chang. I'm currently serving as the logistics specialist for our export international distribution team. I focus solely on our sourcing bids that we do to secure carrier rates from period to period. I'm also serving as the lead diversity recruiter for University of Tennessee. I want to say that I've been with the company for 6 years, and I've been fortunate enough to work here in Memphis, but I started in Southern California, so I've held positions in customer service and finance, and now in supply chain logistics. And although I'm a big fan of University of Tennessee Vols and the employees that you guys produce for us, I am a graduate of the University of Memphis, so go Tigers.
We won't hold it against you. And last but not least, Kyle.
Sure, thank you. My name's Kyle Brown. I graduated from Tennessee in December of 2002, so with a degree in finance, so go Vols. Really happy to be able to work with the University of Tennessee in the capacity of recruiting. My current role is with our North American container business, so if you're getting any boxes from Amazon, flip them over, and if they say International Paper on the bottom, that comes from the division I work with. I'm currently the manager of business analysis for the container group, and I've worked in Memphis on 2 occasions, and I also worked in Georgetown, South Carolina as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kyle. All right, next question. And this one maybe we could do a little bit of a roundtable on, since we have multiple areas represented. But what are some, and I guess, Jessica, if you want to start, maybe talk just kind of from an overview, and then we can talk a little bit more detail with everybody else's industry. But what kind of experiences do you look for when hiring? What makes candidates a good fit? Is there anything particular that you might see on a resume or hear during an elevator pitch or an interview that kind of perks your ears up as that could be a really good fit here at IP?
Yeah, so all of us look for prior work experience. Maybe that's with an internship or a summer job or volunteer experience from a part-time job in high school or college. We also look for individuals who have those leadership experiences. We're looking for people who are highly motivated, action-oriented, because we want to hire future leaders. And so a lot of our roles are also in the field, which are in our manufacturing locations. And so we want people to be willing to work in those manufacturing locations one day, especially for our HR and finance programs. And overall, we want people who are willing to learn. A lot of our early career HR development program and finance and leadership programs provide people with experiences to learn on the job. And so being able to learn quickly and willing to just get in there and roll up your sleeves and understand what's going on and be willing to learn is really big. And thinking about how do you constantly push yourself out of your comfort zone. So if you have those attributes, we think you're a great fit, and then we can teach you whatever else we need to.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Anybody else have anything else that's specific to kind of their areas that you look for as a good indicator that could be a good fit?
Well, I'll add on for what we look for IT, informational technology. We really, and Jessica kind of alluded to it, we look for people who are good learners and can learn on the fly. A lot of the technology that our team supports for our worldwide operations are things that are very specific to the paper industry, or are things just to manufacturing in general that you probably haven't had experience with in college. So a lot of the things that we do and we teach and we support are things that you're going to actually learn on the job. So, some advice also is, when you're going to talk to companies, and especially international paper, don't be shy because you don't have the specific software knowledge or other knowledge that you think you might need to be successful, because especially with international paper, we do a lot of on-the-job training for our position so that you're successful.
And I think I'll add in as well, one of the things that, I think Katie touched on this, curiosity is such a huge piece of what international paper is looking for, because, if you look at our senior leaders, they often don't have experience just in one function. Our past two CFOs have had operational backgrounds, so it's very much a atmosphere where you're going to get experience in different areas. And really, if you're curious, you may be able to explore different areas. So we've had people that have come in with finance backgrounds, but then they decide, hey, I'm interested in sales. And international paper gives you that flexibility to pursue those options. They really do mean it when we really want to develop you as a person, and we're interested in taking on challenges along with you. So even if you may not know a lot about sales, if you show a strong willingness to learn, curiosity, and you can learn quickly on the fly, those opportunities are available to you. So it really is a spirit of curiosity where you're not going to be stuck in the same job function your entire career in international paper. If you come in as an auditor, you're not just going to be an auditor your entire career with international paper. That's unheard of, to have somebody stay in one function for that long.
That's a really important note too that you mentioned there, Kyle, is, career trajectories are not linear. And I think that's something that students might potentially worry about and have anxiety and fear that, whatever my major is means that's exactly what I have to do for the rest of my life. Whatever my first internship is or my first job is, that's going to determine if I'm going to have a happy career or not. But in reality, that's really not how career paths work. And so having that company that kind of supports that flexibility and growth, I think, is really, really important for career development as a whole.
Mm-hmm. And Jessica touched on it a little bit earlier, but each of the business groups we work in, we each have some kind of development rotational type program whenever you're starting out with the company, and allows you to learn and grow and see different locations within the company and see different areas and figure out what you want to do and, where you'll be successful. So that's one of the best things I think about IP, is they care about you and they care about your development and are willing to take a chance and take a risk on you and not just throw you into a job right out of school and, you get stuck there for 30 years. It's one of my favorite things about IP.
Absolutely. Before we move to the next question, Matthew, do you have anything you wanted to add in to that as well?
No, I think it's really indicative of international paper, the way that they described it across all these different business functions. So I've been fortunate enough to have opportunities to take a job in a number of different areas in international paper. And I feel like most of the managers that I had encouraged me to explore different opportunities around the company to make sure that you're well-rounded. And if you are curious and you want some training or you want to shadow someone that's in a different position, they're going to be they're going to be supportive of that, and they're going to give you every opportunity to do that. And that's going to allow you to grow and be a better employee by understanding the actual role that someone else is doing that you're working with. And so, being able to do that without, kind of a fear of fear that you're doing something that you shouldn't be, or a fear that you're going to be pigeonholed into one specific area. That's a big benefit of International Paper.
Awesome. Well, I mean, you guys have done a pretty amazing job of segueing into my next question, which was talking about, tell me more about the company culture there and why you like working for IP. So obviously we know this is a place where flexibility and growth are definitely celebrated and supported. What are some other things about IP's culture that stand out and that make you enjoy working there so much?
Well, I'd say, outside of just the ability that they give you to cultivate your own professional environment, they really focus on building talent and kind of making it feel like you're a part of a family. And so some of the things that International Paper does that I think that's, it's kind of near and dear to me is how they give back to the community. We're very involved in community outreach. They give you a lot of opportunities to volunteer or to donate time, whether it's on the job or, during work hours or not. They give back to the community through education, hunger, wellness, and disaster relief, not only in locations that are specific to us here in Memphis, but all around the globe, wherever International Paper is located. So some of those organizations include Coaching for Literacy, Feeding America, American Red Cross, World Wildlife Fund, and United Way. So, I think Jessica mentioned it in the beginning, but, we've given a largeable donation or a very sizable donation to a lot of these companies. And it's one of the things that makes me proud to say that I work for International Paper is their ability to give back and kind of show that they care about the community and want to help see it grow. Aside from that, and aside from the on-the-job training and what they give you, I think just the ability to show that you can move around the company, not only within the company itself, but actually around the country, shows that their willingness to kind of make you happy, right? A lot of companies may just want you for a specific role, plug you into that job, and then kind of forget about you. But International Paper will go out of their way to kind of make sure that, hey, you're happy. If this is something that you don't see as a good fit for you, well, let's look around the company, whether it's here in Memphis or it's, in California or it's somewhere at one of our mills. Let's make sure that we find the right fit for you, help you grow, help you learn, and help you excel within the company. And that to me is one of the best things about International Paper.
Yeah, and if I could just add to that, you talked about it, Matthew, but we have just a really strong family and relationship-based culture. And from an HR standpoint, we promote most of our positions from within the organization. And so internal development is huge. And we're constantly just finding ways to put people in stretch assignments to ensure that they're developing and growing throughout their career. And even just during COVID-19, we had to make some decisions around how do we staff our internships this summer? How do we look at upcoming full-time roles? And we decided to look at it based on the principle of we see employees as assets, not expenses. And that was our mantra through all of our decision-making process. And we talk about we hire employees for a career, not a job. And we've seen a lot of awards and we've received a lot of accolades around this entire focus on people. And so we've received awards around World's Most Admired Company for the past 17 years, World's Most Ethical Company for 14 consecutive years. We received the Women's Choice Award for Best Company for Diversity and Millennials. And then recently received the Best Employers for Women from Forbes. So these awards really make us proud to be IP, and it really just hits on all those things we've just shared.
Not to put you on the spot, Jessica, but would you be able to go into a little bit more detail about what sort of programs revolving around diversity? Maybe programs might not be the exact right word, but what are the things that IP is doing that you think led to those awards? That's a great amount of accolades to receive. So what specifically is IP doing that you think was the biggest factor in receiving those awards?
Yeah, so we've had a lot of diversity focused initiatives and things throughout the company for a while, but most recently we've looked at our current mentoring boards and we've expanded those to areas that include gender, cultural and ethnic based and experience based groups. And so we created employee networking circles. Two of our most recent ones were the LGBTQ+, and then also a veterans employee networking circle. And then we're looking at Latinx and really just opening that up for our entire employee population instead of it just being a quarterly call once a quarter that's shared to the salary population. We're really trying to find ways that we can get all 50,000 employees across the globe involved in diversity and inclusion, because it's not just something that has to be led from the corporate headquarters. And that's a really big part, as well as just our learning and development programs. So we have a lot of early career leadership programs, and that's where we get a lot of our diverse talent from students like UT and all the different schools that we go to.
Awesome. I think that feeds in well. I think Matthew said it earlier about the feelings of family that you get at IP. And I think efforts like that directly contribute to that, because when you can feel like you're really part of that network, especially at larger companies, it's so important. Obviously, I say this all the time to students, that networking is this single most important career thing that you can be doing towards your career management. But that, you can do that, especially at a company like IP within your company, is so important too. I always stress that to interns. Don't just talk to the people in your department. Don't just talk to your direct supervisor. Don't just talk to the other interns. Talk to everybody and anybody that you can at that company, because, the networking is that important. That's great to hear. Any other cultural highlights that someone wanted to bring up? Kyle, I think you might be on mute still.
I think one of the things that I wanted to talk about was we have groups for when you join International Paper. There are groups set up within each function to help you really just get better acclimated to what a working for a large corporation is like, but it goes deeper than that. So for instance, I'm from White House, Tennessee, went to school in Knoxville. And then when I moved to Memphis, that was really my first visit to the Memphis area. I didn't know anybody that lived there. Had no connections to anybody. So I was really literally on an island. I lived on Mud Island when I first moved out here. But through the Finance Forum group, it's a function group. You get involved with International Paper, not just from your job function. So we had events that were professional events where the CEO would come speak to us, or the CFO would come speak to us and be interested in our group of 30 to 40 young finance people that had just joined the company. We'd have social events where we went to Graceland. I'd never been to Graceland before, but we went there and had an event there. We toured Graceland, and then we had a cocktail hour in the place where they show off all of his cars at. We also do community service. So some of the things we did some school cleanup activities. We volunteered for Habitat for Humanity. We got to do a Halloween, a trick-or-treat event at St. Jude. And so we all did the games and activities for the kids at St. Jude. That was an incredible opportunity as well. And then, through all of that, you really get to meet people personally that you become friends for life with, and are great ways for you to network throughout your career with International Paper. And it's not just finance that has this program. All of the different functions have a program that is similar, and those functions will meet with each other. So the group of young finance professionals will meet with a group of young HR professionals, and they'll do an event together. So it's really just a great way to establish that culture and establish that family-like atmosphere right from the start.
That's great, Kyle. I definitely relate to when I moved to Knoxville. I moved here from Western New York, and it was my first time being in the South was when I interviewed for this job. So the importance of being able to find that group to network with and create that support around you is definitely really, really important. So it's great to hear how much the company helped with that as well. All right, moving on. Obviously, given the current climate that we're in, with the fact that we're all on a Zoom meeting right now, but what advice would you have for students who are in the middle of a job search or an internship search during kind of what this new reality looks like during the pandemic? What advice would you have for those students who are going through that right now? Again, this could be open to anybody.
Yeah, I'll start off. So just be flexible. We're with you. We're all working remote or in some different environment than what we're used to. And so we will give students grace, and we just ask that you be persistent. So take advantage of any of the networking opportunities, attend multiple events with different companies, utilize the Center of Career Development, and just take advantage of all the different resources available to you. If you have a company that you're interested in, follow up with them and make sure that you reach out with any updates, and make sure that you say thank you for them reaching out. That goes a long way when we look at students. And also think about the company that you actually want to work for. We know that there's a lot of companies out there who have had to maybe let go of some employees, and think about positions with stable companies that have been able to survive the pandemic, and look for companies that align with your values, because that's going to be really important, or else you're going to be in the job search in a couple years later as well.
Anybody else want to jump in on that one? Cool.
I think Jessica.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I think Jessica pretty much nailed it on the head right there. I would just add the ability to kind of make sure that you can kind of be open-minded. I think right now with everything that's going on, make sure that you kind of leave your options open, and give every opportunity that you have.
Absolutely. Flexibility is definitely going to be pretty important in the upcoming months, has been for the last 5 months, and will be continue to be absolutely an important trait for sure. Cool. All right. Well, I've got one more question on my list. And this one I think Matthew is especially going to like. Why do you guys like hiring Tennessee Vols so much? Making talk good about the school across the state.
Well, I'll be honest, we at International Paper, we recruit from schools all over, because we're all over the world, right? We've got a pretty big North American presence. And so a lot of our grads come from here. But we want to have the highest number of students so we can hold our bragging rights. No, but for me, one of the things I think about with UT students are how loyal they are to the university, how loyal they are to the football team. They love, everybody bleeds orange in Knoxville, right? We want those kind of students to work for International Paper. We want them to have pride in International Paper and the place that they work, and to continue growing on a career at a place that they love. So we see that's one of the biggest attributes I see recruiting students from UT, is how loyal and faithful they are. And those are the students that really make great employees. We also, I think I can speak for everybody, even Matthew, and the students he's worked with coming from UT. We all have a big pride for UT, and we really want to give back to the university as well, and really just helping the future students succeed in their life endeavors. We just feel like overall the values that UT students have really align a lot with what International Paper stands for, and the values and morals that we have at our company.
I don't know if anyone from development or alumni is watching this, but they're going to love you hitting that branding of the Vols, Vol for life, Vols top balls. Right? You're definitely hitting on those for sure.
We absolutely have a big presence for Big Orange Friday at our headquarters. You can, the Vol fans are always high-fiving each other in the elevators and everything on Fridays. Won't happen anymore, but it used to happen.
Yeah, hey, to touch on that, speaking just candidly, again, working with a lot of different volunteer representatives, the reason that I would say that we like hiring Vols is they're extremely well-rounded candidates. Whether it's just the way they present themselves, they're very smart, they're very eloquent, very well put. It's always a pleasure to work with them across all the different job functions that I've had the opportunity to work with a UT Vol alumni. They truly stand out. So, I was already participating with the University of Memphis, doing some recruiting. And when I had the opportunity to join this team for the University of Tennessee, it's something that I jumped at just, again, because I think that there is a great number of candidates that the school has to offer. And I've seen it firsthand, and I think that you guys do a great job over there. So sounds like something that needs to be said.
All right, well, let me check. I don't see any additional questions coming in on the live in the comments. So I think that about does it for us today. Anything else that you want to make sure that our students know about IP, or anything else to close with?
I do just want to make a plug for all of the events that we'll be attending virtually through the university. You know, we've got plans to attend all the career fairs where it makes sense for our different groups. So that includes like Meet the Firms Fair, Engineering Expo. You know, we're really going to make sure that Jessica, mentioned it earlier, IP is still hiring. We're a very stable company. We're an essential company. So we absolutely need some good interns and full-time employees starting with us next year. So please be sure to connect with us during one of the events.
Yeah, and we're also on social media, so check out our YouTube channel, look at us on LinkedIn, and like Katie said, connect with us. You can see all of our events on Handshake, and we'll be happy to talk through any questions. If anybody else wants to reach out individually, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, students, don't be afraid. You've got their names on the screen right now. Search them on LinkedIn, add that connection request. If you're serious about working for IP, that's how you're going to stand out. Don't be afraid to take that initiative and make that connection. It's never a bad time to network. Well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day today to talk a little bit more about IP and learning more about the culture there and some of the opportunities for students. And we look forward to seeing you at some more virtual events throughout the semester.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.